Hi, my name is Nguyen Chom Zui. I'm an eighth grader from Nguyen Siu School. Ever since I was young, I've always had a keen interest in STEM related subjects. And so I'm really passionate about math, physics, and computer science. And because they have a lot of knowledge that are very applicable in real life scenarios. Um, because of my love for these subjects, I hope to pursue electrical engineering in the future, and I believe with Singapore's immense support for these three subjects in particular, I believe that studying in Singapore will help me achieve my future career goals. The reason why I chose Singapore in particular is that even very early on, especially in high school education, they have a very heavy endorsement in STEM related subjects overall, especially in maths, physics, and computer science. In terms of maths and physics, they have their curriculums encourage a lot of students to study advanced math and advanced level physics in schools such as Raffles Institution and Hua Chong. They also have these type of programs, and in those same schools, they also have computer science and coding clubs for as co-curricular activities to further encourage students to pursue engineering as well. And Singapore is home to NUS and NTU, which are two of the best universities worldwide for studying engineering. They're ranked ninth and 11th worldwide, respectively, for their qualities in engineering. And as an engineer, you in Singapore, you also have a lot of career opportunities and job opportunities because engineering has such a high demand for employment in Singapore overall. And so I think that choosing Singapore is a very wise and feasible option. Growing up, because my father was an engineer and CEO of a manufacturing company, he was the reason why I was exposed to a lot of technology and science related subjects. And I actually got the opportunity to visit his workplace, and what I saw there was a lot of interesting things, and this experience essentially sparked my curiosity and love for physics and computer science. One of my favorite things that I saw there was definitely the machinery with a lot of mechanical arms and welding arms that manufacture the frame of an entire car. Of course, the entire thing was stationary, and I didn't get to see it in action, but it was still amazing and very impressive, and definitely one of the things that sparked my curiosity in STEM subjects. I believe that my strength is definitely my willingness to improve and get feedback. Throughout my preparation for the selection test, I realized that there was something that I've had trouble with, and that's definitely my presentation skills in math. Um, and I easily improved this by asking for feedback and asking on where I should improve and on what mistakes have I suffered. And I've tried to get feedback from a lot of math teachers on how I should improve on my presentation. I've also practiced my handwriting to be more readable. Um, and so I've tried to add structure to my answers in order to make them more readable and more cohesive. And overall, over the course of this preparation, I think my presentation has gone up a notch and reached an acceptable level. Um, and my presentation skills have reached a score of 85 last time I tested, which I think is sufficient enough. And during my selection test, I did manage to present clearly and I think cohesive enough. Um, my weakness, I would say, is like uh, I'm not that good at the essay writing aspect of Vietnamese literature, and that aspect that has been dragging me down, especially my Vietnamese literature marks. Uh, Ever since sixth grade, it's been what I've struggled with the most, and it's been the reason why in sixth grade my marks have struggled to get even past 7.5 points. But I found a way to mediate with that and cope with that in seventh grade, which what I do is just whenever there's a class on any essay writing, I would just try to draft a paragraph or an essay down and I would just find a topic to write about, and I would just send that to my Vietnamese literature teachers to get feedback and criticism. And throughout seventh grade, I suppose my scores have risen to an acceptable level, like slightly above 8, but I think I've only noticed like noticeable improvements in grade 8, which is I think a bit higher than grade 7. Of course, the scores are to me aren't impressive, but they are good enough, especially on my weakest subject. I would say my best achievement is definitely getting third place at the STEAM Festival competition. And for more context, it is a school held competition and it aims to find the best programming or coded product in the form of hardware or software that serves educational or environmental purposes. And so, me and my teammate decided to join without any prior coding experience. And this competition does have a lot of competent and well established coders. And one might take one look at that and get really discouraged. But and for me, I did get demotivated as well, but I pulled through because I do have a lot of passion for computer science, and I believe that this experience would help me pursue it. And so we coded, but tried to code our website using a website maker program called Strikingly, and we had to constantly update our website and learn new code along the way. It was learn new coding language called HDMI on the way, as well as using AI to optimize our features such as video call and AI assistance. Ultimately, in the end, we did succeed to manage to get a third place, which for me at the time was higher than anything else. Given that we had no prior knowledge in coding, we had no prior experience in coding, and so this gave me a valuable lesson that definitely I should not get discouraged because of comparing myself to other people, and that I should focus on my own product first before worrying about the quality of other people's product. I believe it's better to just focus on self improvement rather than comparing yourself to other people, and as well as if you're really passionate about something, don't get demotivated and keep pursuing it, even if you're faced with difficulties along the way. Yeah. My biggest mistake is definitely when I over promised and under delivered on a science project I did during seventh grade. Um, it was about a meteorology report of certain weather conditions in a specific country or region. Of course, I said to my teacher that I would do a news anchor esque report, like a like a weather forecast, similar to the type of thing you see on the news. But unfortunately, I failed to consider that I had limited time with only I believe it was only 2 weeks, and in those 2 weeks, I, instead of coming up with a script and basically trying to revise on this concept, I decided to focus all my time on designing the presentation instead, which I think is a huge error on my part because the result was a project that for me wasn't up to quality and wasn't as cohesive that as I thought it would be. Unfortunately, of course, we did get a lower score, and it was still an A, but I wasn't really satisfied. And what I learned from this was that I should learn to divide my time more efficiently and divide my time essentially better, and I should focus on different aspects of a project instead of just focusing and putting my strength all into one thing. And I also should know my own limitations, and I should factor in variables like time management as well, so that I could in the future have a better quality project and product. I wouldn't say that I have any qualities that make me more deserving of the scholarship than any other shortlisted candidate. But what I can assure you is that I have multiple past achievements that allude my passion for STEM, and I'm very STEM oriented. So therefore, I am very suitable for the science based culture in Singapore, and also because of my plans, my future goals for electrical engineering will definitely benefit Singapore because electrical engineering has two sectors that demand a lot of personnel and electrical engineers, namely semiconductor manufacturing and computer networking, which Singapore is in the lead of these two industries, and to maintain their lead on these industries, they require a lot of employment, and so I want to be employed in these two industries. And I also plan to reside in Singapore and have a long term career in Singapore as well. Um, there are not a lot of people that truly inspire me, but I've found a lot of people that also have left a great impression of me, and one of those is definitely Louis Von Ann. Um, he is the CEO of Duolingo, and he founded CAPTCHA, which is an algorithm that detects spam or robots. Um, he is a self-made man because he came from Guatemala, which is a relatively poor country, and it was and its education is not of the highest quality compared to its neighboring countries like Mexico or the U.S. However, he still managed to pursue computer science and established himself as what I think to be one of the most revolutionary computer engineers ever. And I was really especially impressed with CAPTCHA because it demonstrates his problem solving ability, which I also value a lot. And I also want to do something similar to his career path, as I do want to pursue electrical engineering, but I definitely want to be an educator as well. that teaches either physics or electrical engineering directly, and I also want to either work as an intern for a company or start my own business, just like he did with Duolingo. I would say some aspects that are really important to be a leader are especially being inspirational and having a optimistic mindset. Because a leader needs to lead his team and inspire them to be able to try their best, even if they are in a heavily disadvantaged situation. And to be inspirational, they is very needed because it convinces and encourages their team to try their best and try their hardest, and it yields maximum results if they are inspired and they have high morale. Another aspect of being a leader is that you need to be confrontational, and you need to be basically you basically need to challenge the ideals of others, because as a leader you need to lead your group and give them the confidence to uh, to give their own ass. I don't consider myself to be much of a leader, but because I don't have the necessary experience to be a leader. But my dad, other who I consider to be a leader, does have an experience, which is there was a time when VinFast, a car manufacturing company in Vietnam, decided to invite him to essentially make a essentially create an entire factory situated in India for car manufacturing purposes, in joint of another car company situated in India. Obviously, this process would take a lot of time, effort, uh, and materials, and also resources, which is why his staff initially did not support it at all. However, my dad still took the offer, despite the staff concerns, and he convinced them of the positive light, and how are they going to succeed in doing it. And he also challenged the narrative, and confronted it in a way that would convince the staff um, to maximize their capacity to work, and eventually it ended in success because VinFast did their first car rollout in India, and they held an entire grand opening to celebrate the construction of the factory, and overall it was a huge success, thanks to my father's leadership. I don't think that my time in a dorm would incentivize much conflict. But if it were to happen, I think I would try to make them feel heard by getting them to explain their side of the story on and essentially try to understand them on why are they being uncooperative, and I will try to understand them, uh, and and I would try to make them feel that they are being listened to and understood. I would try to then sympathize with them, and try to explain my own side of the story, and explain what I want them to do and try to communicate essentially my point across, and we would try to reach a middle ground in which we can both agree to do something in order to resolve the conflict. We would create some ground rules that we are both satisfied with accommodating for the sake of each other. Of course, if my roommate were to remain uncooperative, I probably try to contact a teacher or personnel to try to resolve it. Of course, if there are no other ways or no other more efficient ways to get my roommate to do something, I would probably just do something already just to get it done. After 5 years, I think I definitely want to spend three of those 5 years first, developing my skills as a leader and as a team member by joining a lot of extracurriculars and co-curriculars, and basically getting high positions in some STEM-oriented clubs. I also want to invest more time in subjects like math, physics, and computer science. After graduating, I definitely want to spend two of my remaining years either just trying to get the Asian scholarship and applying for NUS and NTU, because they have a very advanced and meticulous curriculum for engineering and electrical engineering to be particular. And in 10 years time, I think at that time I would have finished my main course in university, and at that time I definitely want to pursue higher education if it expands my job opportunities, or I could get an internship at a company for a more job experience. Um, and in 20 years, I definitely want to work at a companies somewhere along the lines of Juniper. If I were to be present in computer networking, I think at this time I do have the sufficient credentials and job experience in order to work at a company at such a company. I also if I were to pursue something like a semiconductor manufacturer, I definitely want to work in a company of similar size. um, or if I'm confident enough and I have a wide enough vision, I definitely could start my own business.